Well, I'm very excited to be back here in the state. Very excited to be back part of BYU football. And I want you to know that I come with a sense of urgency. I come with the intent to prove something. And what would I wish to prove? Well, I'd like to prove that offensive football at BYU, with the leadership of Bronco Mendenhall, can mimic some of the same things that the defense is doing. And so I come back with that intent. I come back with the single purpose to do two things on the offensive side of the football. One is to go fast, and the second is to go hard. And I hope if any of you see us train in the weight room, I hope that it's hard to pick out, with those two criteria, an offensive player from a defensive player. I hope when you come to watch practice that you see the same type of training methods going on both sides of the football. And that's what I've come back with the intent, to do. Now, I'm sure there's some thoughts as to 2 years ago what went on, and I'll address that. And after I do, I want you to know that I respect those that I've worked with here and cherish those opportunities and the things that we did together. And so in that regard, I'll be very limited because I'm one of those that believe some things, what happens in a football family stays in a football family. But this I will say, it was clear to me as the offensive coordinator that it was a good opportunity for me to step down and let Bronco have a chance to adjust some things on the offensive side of the football. And he didn't want that to happen. I took that opportunity as the offensive coordinator to do that. And it turned out to be an unbelievable deal for me. I was able to go to University of Arizona and have 2 outstanding years. Would not have grown or developed as a coach had that not happened. In the certain areas that growth and development needed to take place for me as a coach. And that first year at University of Arizona, Nick Foles was our quarterback and had a very young green offensive line. And that was the whole key to getting that thing off the ground. And right in the middle of the season, working that deal, Mike Stoops was let go. Finished out the year. I'm back again, wondering, being a coach in this profession, and you got to know, me more than anybody, I think in BYU history has been in and out of employment in the coaching world. So I know what that world is about, and it's tough. Tough on families, tough on careers. But sometimes those moments make for the biggest opportunity for growth, if that's how you look at it. That's how you choose to approach that situation. Interviewed, Rich Rodriguez came into town, and I was just lucky, I guess. The only one that he kept. Rich Rodriguez was an outstanding head coach, offensive mind, and an outstanding director of programs. And funny, because Rich Rod been in a situation where his deal ran its course, didn't work, left Michigan, and he came to Arizona with something to prove. And I really respected that about him. He didn't whine or do anything along those lines about other places where he didn't have the success he wanted. He just set out with determination. And man, was I fortunate to be a part of that, and felt blessed to have that opportunity to work with them. So I look forward to coming back here to BYU. It's been tough. The interview process has been extensive with the coaches. And I want you to know that the criteria I'm looking for in Coach Mendenhall to coach, we've got 2 positions remaining. The criteria is to coach our kids at the highest level, to get them to play fast and play hard, and to be able to recruit their positions in that regard, and to be able to develop the players that they have in that regard. The 2 coaches that we did hire, Garrett Touche, Mark Otuaya, were very important key hires for me, because my frame of reference is my college offense. And that's where the common frame, the thread with Garrett Touche, we were both tutored by Roger French. And to have a common home plate, so to speak, very important. He and I will both coach the offensive line. And as outstanding of a coach as Garrett is, I'm probably going to be his assistant. This I can tell you. I'll be the best darn assistant offensive line coach in the country to get an opportunity to work with Garrett to coach the offensive line. I felt this go around that the biggest transformation on the offense should start with the line. A lot of people say it all starts up front. Well, this is what it looks like when you actually mean it all starts up front. Your offensive coordinator's there, and a full-time offensive line coach is there. I hope that group is the hardest coached on the team. Certainly, we've put our resources in that area. Mark Otuaya is going to coach our running backs, and very unique hiring there, because Mark does a couple of things for the offense. In all the places that I've coached, the running back coach position has been very unique. And nothing was more unique than how running backs have been coached here at BYU with the pass game. And with Coach Reynolds retiring and all of that leaving the program, I felt it was very needful to have a running back coach that, too, there we had a common thread with frame of references and things we did in our playing days here at BYU that tied in to things that Coach French, Coach Scoville, Coach Chow, into those concepts that we grew up pretty much on this campus developing. So Mark was the key to that. I have yet to be in an offense where the running back position is asked to do more things than the offense that running backs play to here in terms of catching the football and running. Every other system, excellent running the football. Excellent coaches coaching running backs to run the football. But that takes a different turn when it comes to those guys as pass receivers. And so Mark brings value tremendously with that, along with managing and caring for players on and off the field. With that being said, I want to, again, when I'm speaking, I'm speaking to supporters of BYU, and to those that support BYU, I will say this. It may have been puzzling, my departure 2 years ago, but I want you to know that I hoped that the program would have grown with my resignation. As I come back, Coach Mendenhall asked me if I'd be interested in coming back, and I didn't hesitate. I'm not a real hesitating type. I had no hesitation to come back. And like my friend Rich Rodriguez, I've got something to prove. And the number one thing I would like to prove is if we can get an offense that has and plays with the same passion that what they've done on the defensive side of the football is phenomenal. Any questions? Uh, yes, I was, because, when you leave a job, I don't think you leave. Uh, you're not going to leave walking backward and looking at the place you leave. You leave looking forward. And so I was surprised, and with that came the him asking if I'd be interested in coming back to help transform the overall culture on the team. And man, I love that kind of stuff. Uh, the head coach having a vision, having a strategy for a program, and to be a part of almost a second go run at it, I was surprised, but did not hesitate at the opportunity.
What are your overall thoughts on the players that you have coming back from last year? Just your overall thoughts on the team that you'll have this year?
I don't know, and I kind of know some of them as young players and kids I recruited, but they've changed, and a lot of them are now returning from missionaries as young men, and I don't really know what, and I kind of want to be that way. I kind of want to be kind of a clean slate because I do believe sometimes certain players respond better when they do feel that they have a clean slate and an opportunity to prove themselves. So I'm looking forward to spring ball. Do not quarterback, O-line, tight end, running back, wideout. I do not have a plan in mind to utilize this, that, and the other. More of a blank slate going into spring.
The offense looked like it was when you were here the first time?
I hope the good parts of it is that way. Geez, I look at self-critique when I look back at what transpired in that 6-year run. Man, I'd do a lot of things different. It's a redo, and one of the things that I think I'd like to do different is to utilize the quarterback in the run game, which I did not do the first 6 years. To get with Rich Rodriguez and that staff, wow, the quarterback run game is a fascinating deal. But this I did learn. When you use the quarterback run game, to get your quarterback to go the distance, you've got to be very discerning. You've got to be able to be very wise in your approach of that. Otherwise, you could easily overdo that and expose, supposedly your best player that touches and secures the ball at the highest rate is your quarterback. And so if that player's playing at a really good level and he gets hurt, wow, no doubt you take a step back from that perspective. So, yeah, the quarterback run game was fascinating to see the ground level of that, and also to see how it's managed. Not just run your quarterback all the time, but knowing how to do that to keep that kid going all the way through the season.
Are you confident that you have a quarterback in the system now that can fulfill that goal?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind.
Who would it be?
Well, that's what spring ball hopefully sorts out. But there's no doubt in my mind that there are answers at quarterback here at BYU. I can't tell you right now, and spring ball is going to be valuable. Fall camp is going to be valuable, not just from the quarterback standpoint, but from everyone. Here's what I think makes football work. You go through spring ball, you kind of identify who's better at doing what as opposed to not. Evaluate those kids, give that feedback to them, give them an opportunity to grow over the summer, and then as they work and develop themselves, because a lot of that is you got to do it on your own. If they really take it to heart and they cover that ground tremendously, and they show up in fall camp better than they were in spring, then that summer meant something. So as a coach, we're going through spring, same deal. We'll outline what kind of needs to happen in the summer, and then when they show up in fall camp, those guys that have really improved from the spring, that's going to be my starting point for how we develop the offense. So we're quite a ways away from that.
So 2 years ago, Robert, were you asked to reapply for your position or not? How did that work?
Like I said, I don't really want to get into the details. This I will say, like I said earlier, I resigned, and Bronco asked me not to, and I said, no, I need to give you an opportunity to readjust, reassess.
Any other questions? Robert, what's it been like for you this last month, just jumping into the recruiting process, with basically a month before signing day?
It's tough because those kids had developed relationships and they were being recruited by very good recruiters, and to switch that, that's all my years of coaching. That's never been easy. That's never been a fluid transition. There's always, because that's recruiting. You develop relationships, and so, we tried to do the best with the situation, and yeah, we lost one guy, but I think that had more to do with self-selection than anything else. And there's the selection. You want in on the offense, you better go fast, and you better play hard.
Which of the incoming recruits, as far as you've been able to see, might have the best chance of contributing in 2015?
I don't know. I really don't. I look forward to fall camp to see that. Now, Billy's here, so we can talk about him. And Billy Green's going to get reps with college offense and spring ball, with everything being brand new. So he is going to be tested to the hilt. And I kind of commend him for him stepping into that challenge, because they volunteered to do that. It wasn't something that was asked or required. So that tells me something about Billy Green already, that I'm kind of fired up to see him jump in the middle of spring ball. And you guys have been around for a while. You know what spring ball's like. I want to hit you, and I want to hit you hard. And that's the fun of spring ball. So for Billy to jump in there, that to me, that says something about the kid.
So with those two staffing positions left, do you know what those assignments would be, or does it depend on you?
Yeah, we're down to a wide receiver coach and a quarterback coach. So we got two left to fill. And the timeline, gosh, I hope we get them hired by spring ball. And we got a couple of weeks before that happens. And that's our timetable till then. I did feel that recruiting was a priority.
Coach, can you discuss kind of how Braden Kearsley thing worked out? Seems to be.
Braden? I think I'm going to have a lot of fun being his coach. I have to tell you, sitting in his living room with he and his family, I will definitely have a lot of fun. And with offensive linemen, there's not going to be very many podiums for them or spotlight. Hopefully y'all turn over a leaf and try that O-line thing. Craig Thorpe. Coach Craig Thorpe I didn't play for him, but all the guys when I was a freshman and the upperclassmen, that was their frame of reference. And that was a big deal at BYU when I was a freshman, living up to that standard. So I hope Braden gets into the offensive line culture of BYU, and there's a lot to live up to there. My gut tells me it's going to be a lot of fun coaching that kid.